Hello, and welcome to my video. Today, we will do a deep dive, a process presentation, on The Life of Clone Troopers, a short Star Wars film written by me, Austin J. Vasquez. I feel like I grew and struggled in these specific areas. Now, I divided it into two sections, areas that I feel like I grew in, and then the areas that I struggled with. I felt like my character development certainly grew as writing this story. It's about, as the title says, the life of clone troopers. So originally it was called a day in the life of a clone trooper, but I changed it and a little bit of the story just based on the fact that I didn't want to focus on just one single character for the whole story. Scene heading, I feel I have scene headings down to the T now, and I feel really confident when it comes to writing or creating a new scene for my story. Dialogue, I've always felt comfortable with, and I feel that every time I do write dialogue, that I just grow even more. Now, when I say dialogue, I do specifically mean for script writing, as I do feel comfortable writing dialogue in an essay format. I'm just not at the level that I am for script writing. Now, some areas that I struggled in were action lines. Well, when I say action lines, I do feel confident. That kind of goes hand in hand with the scene heading and the dialogue and even the character development, or rather, just like the character telling. But with action lines, the parts that really get me up is when to know what is too much. Now, I don't write paragraphs in my action lines, but I know that there are some parts where, hey, use a new line for this certain part. But sometimes it confuses me because the next line, when I go to write, can kind of also be blended in with the last thing that I just wrote. World building. So, this is kind of back and forth. I do feel like I can build a world. I feel like it's very hard for me to describe the world in detail. So I guess that it really should be world telling or world showing rather than world building. So my mistake. Time skips and gaps in script writing. See, this kind of goes back to the action lines. My scene headings I feel like are good, but I'm not very good at doing flashbacks, flash forwards, any time skips or gaps. I'm just not the very best at that, and I don't know if I should be writing those in the scene heading or in the action lines, or as an entirely different thing on their own. I thought I wanted to do, but learned. Now, things I wanted to do was tell the same story of a clone trooper over his whole life. And at the very end, spoiler alert, this is for my original idea, I was going to have his whole life documented, and then eventually I was going to have him die in the very end. But changed that to being the lives of several different clone troopers at different stages of their lives. I also wanted the story to span 10 years, because 10 years is roughly when the clone troopers are shipped out to the Republic and under which Jedi generals. So I was going to have it where, again, the original idea was the clone trooper who I was going to focus on for the whole story, when he would die shortly after being deployed in the battle, and then the ending, instead of restarting the whole thing, showing another clone trooper being born, I was actually going to show another clone trooper replacing him. Things I learned to tell individual stories of troopers and also characters in general. I guess I could change it to characters, but just for the specific project, that's why I put the word troopers. I also learned how to write stories about different clone troopers at different points of their lives, or different points of a character's life, kind of like an anthology, essentially. My efforts were supported and sabotaged by X, so in the future, some things that were supported were my researching and source materials. There's wide array of source material in Star Wars based upon the clones. There's Legends continuity, there's canon continuity, all in the comics. You have many novels and books, many different fan pages and material pages that go over what the clone troopers are and how their daily lives were. And not to mention all the numerous videos you can find of people talking about them on the internet. Um, Sabotaged. Um, I just had some writing distractions in my house, and that would just cause me to take more time to write it. And also, as I just mentioned, canon and legends. So not all the information, or not every person is going to tell you, hey, this thing what I'm about to talk about is not canon, it's legends, or hey, it's not legends, it's canon. So sometimes you have to do a little bit more digging to find out which continuity this is from, because Star Wars, for any Star Wars fan out there, and when I bring up canon and legends, you know what I'm talking about. Canon and legends are two very distinct and different things. I will leverage the assets, skills, or experiences I developed in the following ways. Over time, I will update and tweak the script. So, even after this class, I'm going to come back to the script, and I'm just going to keep on trying my hardest to make it better and more accurate for the troopers as I find more information. Try to make more detailed accounts of their lives. Writing more scripts will make me a better script writer. My dream is to go into the comic book industry, but if I could not do that, I would love to be in the film industry and be writing scripts for people. So this writing scripts is, I like writing scripts better than anything else, just because it seems the most fun to me. I will develop my skills in script writing, such as time skips / flashbacks. Those were some of the things that I felt like I struggled with earlier, and that's the whole time skip, flashback, and time gaps and stuff like that. That is something I need to dedicate like a significant amount of time for myself, at least, because that's something I struggle in so very much. And becoming a more versatile writer. I like I said, I don't just want to be a comic book writer. I would love to, be able to write have like the styles of writing comic books, scripts, novels, books, and articles. Like I want to be able to be like the multi toolkit that has a fitting for everything. The project will help me get closer to my short-term goals in the following ways. Now, some of the ways are a portfolio sample, writing experience, and a resume edition. Portfolio sample, my short film about the clone troopers, will just be another portfolio sample that I can put on my webpage, my portfolio page, just to show people more of my work I've done. Writing experience, this will just prove more writing experience specifically for script writing, and then this will be a great thing to add to my resume when submitting it to a future employer. My next step towards my dream job will likely be look for a job in writing, editing, or publishing in my area, which there are plenty, as I live in the greater Seattle area. Apply for a job with a credible and noted company. Now, there's a lot of companies, and I'm not trying to bash on them, but there's a lot of companies that we're just hiring a bunch of people, and even if they may be, oh, they're in film, they're in, science, they're into marketing, research, or whatever. Now, not to say that you can't or shouldn't join those, but to me, I would rather join a credible and established company that is like a household name. And then my plan is to work and stay with the company for 2 to 3 years before moving on to the next step of my career. My dream job is to be a head writer for DC Comics one day. Specifically, I would love to write for Batman. And again, my other dream job is to start my own comic label where I can tell all my own stories with all my own characters. Thank you.